Hey guys, Richard Parker here. I'm a member on various online forums, social anxiety forums, panic disorder forums. I've had panic disorder for about 14 years. For the last 2 years, I would say I've had it about 90 to 95% under control. So I'm making this video kind of as a crash course on panic attacks and everything I can possibly think of that can help you kind of chip away at this tree until it falls down. I don't believe there's any magical cure. Well, there can be cures. If you have one specific thing that's causing them, like, you have stage 2 hypertension, and you have no idea that that actually causes panic attacks. But for your normal person who suffers from them, I don't think there's really any cures. I think you need a more holistic, a more systematic approach with this stuff. So I'm just going to throw so many different things at you, and I'm hoping that you learn at least one or two really useful tips. Supermarkets, I used to get panic attacks. Traffic lights, parking lots was really bad for me. Restaurants, eating in public. There's so many different triggers that people have, and everyone kind of experiences panic attacks differently. But and I know that it's hell. It's one of the worst things in the world. It's like standing in the middle of a circle where there's 100 people with a gun pointed at your face, and you feel like death would be a better option, and you have no idea really when they're going to happen or when they're even going to end, and it is bad. Panic attacks, probably the worst thing I can imagine a person suffering from. I've even thought, I wonder if this is what it feels like to have paranoid schizophrenia, because that's sometimes what I would feel like. It's really bad. But we're going to start off with the basics, the boring stuff. Nutrition and exercise. First, we have water. I kind of made a short list here. So, water, if you don't drink a lot of water, dehydration is known to cause anxiety, fatigue, insomnia, and it can cause so many different long-term effects. You have to drink a lot of water, and a lot of people don't drink water. If you're an anxious person, you should drink at least 4 liters of water a day. There are diuretics to control your blood pressure, which ironically they work by flushing out sodium, potassium, and calcium from your blood. And this in turn lowers blood pressure. If your blood pressure is high, if you're dehydrated, your blood gets syrupy, that's going to make you anxious. So drink a lot of water. This will calm you down. This is not bullshit. This is something, once I started doing it, you will feel a lot more calmer. There's sugar. Sugar is probably the worst shit you can put in your body. I consider it like a poison. Your adrenal glands, which produce adrenaline and cortisol, sugar really screws with these glands. If you're an anxious person, chances are your adrenal glands are already very sensitive, and they become this way just because you overreact to stress and stimuli. So there's a good chance your adrenal glands are already stressed out. So adding sugar to that equation, it just pumps out more adrenaline, more cortisol. This makes you more stressed out, and then your blood sugar plummets, and then you can get anxious on both ends of the spectrum. Sugar is in almost everything you can think of, even things you think are healthy, like apple juice, orange juice. These things are loaded with high fructose corn syrup. They put it in bread, obviously in ketchup, barbecue sauce, but it's in a lot of things you would never imagine it being in. I don't think you need to go insane, avoiding things that have like 20 milligrams of sugar, but things that are just like pure sugar, cakes and desserts and whatnot, stay away from that stuff. There's a video on YouTube. I watched it a while ago. It's called Sugar, the Bitter Truth. If you don't know anything about sugar and how bad it really is for you, watch this video. It's one of the best videos I've ever seen on sugar. And when I saw this video, I realized, damn, sugar might really be making me anxious. So I cut sugar out of my diet. You know, I'm not going to say my panic attacks went away, but I felt a lot less anxious. And this is what you have to do. You have to reduce your baseline anxiety in as many ways as possible. So cut sugar out. Also stay away from alcohol. This should be obvious, but if you have anxiety, you're going to be very prone to want to drink alcohol because it relaxes you. But then you have to deal with hangovers, being dehydrated, your electrolytes being all out of whack. And I know a lot of people who have panic disorder, they complain when they're hungover. You know, they'll have like 4 or 5 panic attacks in one day, that day that they're hungover, when they normally, you know, might have one every other day. So alcohol is really bad. You can get addicted to it, especially if you have anxiety problems, so stay away from it. Do not use it to cope with this problem. Next, we have vegetables, which I know probably 9 out of 10 people just hate hearing the word vegetables. We live in a society, you know, that's, you know, fast food and all this garbage, you know, processed canned soups and whatnot. Eat your veggies. I'm telling you this matters. Just read the research on veggies. They do so many good things for you. Veggies have even been associated to living longer. They push more oxygen into your blood. When you have more oxygen in your blood, your heart has to work less to pump oxygen, so it's less stress on your heart. The micronutrients, they help your organs function better. Especially organs that matter, like your adrenal glands, your pancreas and whatnot. They can help avoid deficiencies from not eating vitamins, and certain deficiencies all by themselves can make you extremely anxious, make your immune system stronger. You're less likely to get sick. They increase energy, they increase your mood, make you feel happier, more confident. Veggies are really good for you. So don't just listen to this stuff and, you know, if you eat shit food, don't go back to eating shit food. At least, you know, try some of these things for at least 4 to 6 weeks before you decide they're not making any difference. Because I'm telling you, this stuff matters. It matters a lot. Next, we have running. This was probably the first way I learned to deal with my panic attacks. If I had to, you know, do public speaking, I would run about 3 to 4 miles. This would exhaust my body, exhaust all my nervous energy, and it was almost like it was impossible to get a panic attack because my body did not have any, I don't know what the word is, I guess energy, any nervous energy that can be used, you know, to make me anxious or nervous while doing these speeches. It was one of the first things I did. However, I got out of control with the running, and there was one point where I was running so much I could barely walk. So you got to mix these things up, and, you know, one day run, another day, you know, do some of the other things that I'm about to mention. Next, we have pharmaceuticals. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a shrink. There's Lexapro, Paxil, Zoloft, Xanax, Klonopin, and there's beta blockers like Inderal. I was on Lexapro for 2 years. It did reduce the frequency of my panic attacks. It actually worked really well, but the side effects were terrible, and it didn't really make it worth taking the medicine after a certain point. The side effects just got worse and worse. I couldn't wake up. I was sleeping like 10, 11 hours a day. My memory, I was forgetting things, couldn't find my keys. It worked for one thing, but created a lot more other issues. You can research on these medicines on askapatient.com. That's my favorite website. Patients who take these medicines will leave honest reviews about the medicine. And before you think about anything, I suggest you go on that website. Paxil is known to be very hard to get off of, so I wouldn't really recommend it. Xanax, Klonopin, all these benzodiazepines are very addictive. If you think a panic attack is bad, wait till you have to get off this medicine, because you will have like a 6-month-long panic attack. And no, I never really took these medicines. I tried them for like a month, and I read so much shit about them, I decided to stop taking them. But you can watch YouTube